Welcome to NCIX Tech Tips. Today's PC Systems episode features the Vesta Turb1ne. Turbine, right. So this system has so much awesome cooling built into a very unique cube case form factor and just crazy components, and you just calm down, watch the video, and you guys can find out what's going on with this awesome cool system. As usual, we're going to start with the exterior, and this one's going to be a little bit different, quite frankly, because this is a cube case, which is something we've never showcased on an NCIX PC Systems edition of NCIX Tech Tips. So the first thing you're going to notice is that it's quite a bit wider and quite a bit shorter than most of the cases that you've seen before. This is to accommodate a flat laying down motherboard style interior. Very cool stuff. More on that once we open it up. In the front of the case, you've got the usual half styling. So that means lots of airflow, lots of filtered mesh, lots of industrial rugged looks, and plenty of practical stuff. So in the front, you've got two 5¼ inch bays and two 3½ inch hot swap bays, which is great because it means you can easily swap drives in and out of it. Say, for example, if you archive your data on drives as opposed to on optical discs these days, this is a really easy way to swap them in and out without actually using any tools whatsoever. So very, very cool stuff. We've actually got this top one populated, so I can't pull that out right now. You got a power switch, reset switch, mic, headphone, and two USB 3.0 ports. It's worth noting that the fans in the front have been replaced with Cooler Master turbines for their quiet operation and excellent airflow moving characteristics. Two reinforced handles on either side of the case mean you can lift it up, move it around, and you're not going to have any kind of flex to the chassis whatsoever. It is incredibly well built. You've also got more ventilation vents on the sides. Ventilation vents. What else would a vent be for other than ventilation? I mean, vent is short for ventilation. What am I even talking about? Why am I still talking about this? Moving on to the back of the case, we've got a Cooler Master 850 watt power supply, another 120 millimeter cooling fan, this time for exhaust, as well as the rear I/O. So you've got your PS2 keyboard mouse combo port, two USB 2 ports, 6 USB 3 ports provided by the MSI M-Power motherboard, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, Gigabit Ethernet, DisplayPort, HDMI, SPDIF, 7.1 audio out, and see those gold-plated connectors? That's a hint as to what kind of graphics card you might find inside this machine. Last thing I want to show you guys is the top of the unit. So we've got a couple of fan mounts, but we're not using those because honestly there's enough airflow in here with all the vents and all the fans, but it does give you a great view of the sweet, wicked components inside. Now the interior layout is a big part of what makes this and really any cube chassis unique because it's got a very, very different type of configuration than what you'd normally see in a computer case. So check this out. No flex to this whatsoever in spite of the fact that they punched out most of the middle of it to replace it with mesh. This is an incredibly well-built little chassis, especially given the price. And then we're going to take off these side panels when you're going to see, actually here, I want to show you guys this as well. This is awesome. This is why those handles are so strong, because you can see they have a piece that extrudes here, and then there's a metal reinforced piece right here that means that you're basically picking up the computer by the actual skeleton of the chassis itself. It's not going anywhere. Again, this is smart and careful and well-built construction from Cooler Master. Love to see it. Now that we're inside, we can see a little bit more about the interior configuration. So there's that M2 850 power supply I was talking about before. You can see to give a little bit more room for cable management here, it does extrude from the back a little bit. I don't mind this as a trade-off if they can make the overall chassis a little bit smaller by doing that. So kudos to Cooler Master for going about it that way. There's those two 3½ inch hard drive cages. All of this is hidden away on the basement, and you can see some of the cable management down here. Might not be the tidiest thing you ever saw, but it doesn't matter because you can hide it all down there, and at the top it is incredibly clean. So I'm going to turn it around and show you guys the other side as well. So that's where the 5¼ inch bays are. Those are toolless. So there's your DVD bay. There's your Samsung 840 Pro SSD. That's the boot SSD. It does have, really, is it 5 or 4? It's 4. It does have 4 2½ inch drive sliders here that come with little pieces, so you can easily toollessly swap them in and out. There is a removable motherboard tray in this case, so if you were to build your own system in it, you wouldn't have any difficulty. You can just remove the motherboard tray, put in all that bottom stuff, and then put this in at the end, and here we are. So we've got Cooler Master's latest premium cooler on our CPU. This is a 3770K. We have 16 gigs of G.Skill 2133 memory. We've got an MSI M-Power motherboard. So remember, the M-Power is the one where they validate every single unit at their factory at an extreme overclock in excess of 4.4, sometimes even higher overclocks to make sure that every single board is what they call OC certified. Speaking of OC certified, we've got a GTX 680 Lightning. This is a beast of a card with an aftermarket cooler, dual 8-pin power connectors, backplate, huge cooling fans, just an awesome graphics card. So this is pretty much, as far as configurations go, the best of MSI. Not to mention, to go along with the best of MSI yellow themed look, we've got some Bitfenix Alchemy strips here that give it sort of a sinister, yellow look that the Russian told me to say sinister. I'm not necessarily in agreement with that, but now you can see those fans that we replaced the original chassis fans with. So there you go. What do you get with this system? You get a neat form factor that's very portable, very easy to haul around. You get top of the line components in terms of your CPU, your graphics card, really everything at top of the line SSD, and you get it to run cool and quiet. You can tell because my mic's right here. So if this system was loud, you guys would know about it. Thanks for checking out this edition of NCIX Tech Tips. Don't forget to subscribe.